I'm Danny K. White. I'm the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life. And today I'm going to answer a question I get a lot, which is, how do I get motivated to do this? How do I get started when I just feel like I can't even make myself get up and do the first thing? Okay, rest assured that I am not going to cheer you on in this video. My answer to this question is not to assure you that you can do it or convince you that it's worth it. You know all those things. And I know myself, I rebel against excessive cheerleading and encouragement. So I'm going to tell you the way that I get myself to get going when I'm feeling what you're feeling. If you're feeling a lack of motivation, right? So the best way to motivate myself is to see visual progress, even if it's a very teeny tiny amount of visual progress. So my goal in those moments is to identify the very smallest thing, the very lowest energy task that I could possibly do, that I can complete all the way, the smallest task that I can complete completely, that ultimately does move me forward in the overall task that I want to accomplish, that's so overwhelming to me that I'm not motivated right now, okay? Because that's the problem. So many times, this lack of motivation comes from the big idea of what you want to accomplish being so far down the road from where you are right now. And so you look around at what you're dealing with right now, and it just feels like, is there any point? Is anything that I could do today actually worth doing? Because I'm never going to be at that point today. So I have a video, hopefully I'll remember to link to it there, where I talk about the value of making the goal better, okay? It is not possible to fail at the goal of better if I do even one single thing. And that mindset shift has changed my home. Because when I started making my goal for the space to be better than it was before I started, then my house started to improve. Where before, when I would just feel overwhelmed and unmotivated, because where I wanted to be was so far down here, and I didn't do anything, my house never got better at all. In fact, it got worse because I continued living in it, and it just kept piling up while I was feeling unmotivated. But when I made my goal better, that's when things started to change. So if you're sitting there right now feeling like I just can't do the things that need to be done, identify one small thing, and I'm talking really small, that you could do completely that would move you forward on this overall goal. Trash is one thing that's very easy to do completely. And when I say that, I don't even mean get rid of all the trash. I mean one piece of trash thrown into the trash bag or the trash can or whatever you have, or the recycling bin. One thing thrown away is one thing done completely. And that has to be done anyway to ever get to this point where your house would be at the place that you're envisioning that you want it to be in the future, right? Giving yourself permission to identify the smallest, lowest energy task out of the overall goal that you have and do that task. And then, if you can, do another small thing completely. And then another small thing completely. But even if you give up after the first one or the second one and you say, that's it for today, I can't do anymore, you've still done that thing. And there is so much power in that to motivate. So it's giving yourself permission to identify the very smallest thing and count that towards your overall goal. Okay? So along with this is the visibility rule. This is my entryway right here. Okay? You can see I've got my, I don't know if you can see the brown paper on the floor for the workman coming through, and I don't know, it's hard to see where my hand is, and see the rug back there that is rolled up. Things are not perfect, right? And that kind of chaos can often make it feel like, what is the point? What's the point of doing anything? And instead, I do the same thing, especially in these visible spaces. What is something I can do here right now all the way? I can throw away trash. I can pick up the shoes that got left by the door and go put them where they actually go. I can take the dog leash and take it off of the little table and into the actual basket where it should have gone in the first place, but whatever. I can do those things completely. And for every one that I do, it looks a little bit better and I'm making visual progress. And visual progress is the best motivator, okay? So the best motivator is not jumping up and down over having moved the dog leash 6 inches over into the container where it goes. But the motivator, the thing that motivates me, is seeing, oh, that made a visual difference. Oh, that made an impact. That was worth my time. It was worth my incredibly small amount of energy that I put into that. That was worth it. And then living with that is the thing that motivates me, okay? Couple of tricks on this, which are not tricks, as I don't like to be tricked. But a couple of things that I like to do is take a before photo with no commitment, okay? Like low commitment, I'm not gonna do a big thing here. There probably won't even be an after photo, but I'm gonna take a before photo with zero commitment of what all I'm gonna get done today. And then do one thing at a time that I can possibly do all the way completely, okay? Small things done completely that move me toward the overall big, huge, and daunting goal. As I do those things, every time I think of it, maybe every 5 minutes, maybe just when I'm done, maybe after just doing the one thing, take another picture so that I can see, I can swipe back and forth on my phone. Oh, that made a visual difference. I can see that this space is better, and that is highly motivating. Just remember that the key here is the done completely. If this is the first video of mine that you've ever watched, I encourage you to go watch my decluttering process, my no mess decluttering process. That is the basis for all of this, okay? The one thing done completely is very different from, okay, I'm going to start this decluttering process if you're doing things in the way that most people encourage you to start a decluttering process, okay? What I mean by that is don't let the one thing that you do be to pull everything out of a space. Because if you're lacking motivation anyway, and if you're the kind of person who has ever experienced pulling everything out of a space and then losing all your motivation and all your energy or getting distracted, and then that stuff is spread everywhere for the next 3 weeks or 4 years, whatever, don't make that the thing that you do. That's not what I'm talking about. That's the difference between something small done completely versus something started. It can feel like, oh, I'm starting a decluttering project by pulling everything out. I don't do that with my no mess decluttering process. Instead, I go one item at a time, final decision, acting on that final decision, and that way I can stop at any time, because the most demotivating thing is to end up with a bigger mess and your house worse off because you started decluttering, okay? Just to be clear, I'm saying it's much more effective to motivate yourself to see real, actual small progress instead of big dramatic starting of a project that you barely had any motivation to start in the first place anyway, okay? So really embrace the key to the no mess decluttering process, which is take it there now, okay? Whatever small thing that you're doing completely, that's why trash is the best, because you hold the trash bag and it is taken there now when it's put in the trash bag. That is completed all the way. That is very valuable, more valuable than half doing something, okay? So really focus in on what is a small thing I can do completely that moves me toward the overall goal, and every little small thing that I do, even though I'm not feeling any motivation, even though I'm convinced it's not gonna make a huge impact on my space, every time I do a small thing, I am moving toward that goal, and that's what ends up motivating me. The best way to be motivated is visual progress. And the only person who can do that is you, right? Okay. Oh, did that sound way too encouraging and happy? Okay, just alter that for whatever it is that would work for you, okay? Because I don't want to sound too cheerleadery, because I know how I rebel against that. All right, this has been fun. Fun-ish, right? I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.